All right, Ayatollah Marv.
Yes, sir.
Man, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
You made me famous.
Man, it did great numbers.
Man, look at here. I'm going in the stores now and people are like, I saw your interview. Can we take a picture? I feel like a real celebrity.
No way, that's what's up. That's dope, man. Well, I thought we would start off with getting to know Compton a little bit better and where you grew up at and the streets and everything. You know, what are some of the pros and cons of gangbanging that you've seen from back in the day to where you are now?
As some people would relate, the Crips were the biggest destruction of the black community in the 70s. They, through this things that they did and the functions that they ravaged, they stopped a lot of black social activities. It came to the demise of, we used to have record hops and a lot of social events that children went to. Through that gang, it caused a lot of separation and people start segregating themselves in neighborhoods. You had no longer Christmas parades, no record hops, and everybody started becoming segregated, and then it became the Bloods and the Crips. Then it later on became Pirus out of Compton, and everybody started this internal war against each other. And for 20 years, we had no activities, and people were coming and eating off of each other. And it came to a point where, in the late 70s, dudes would start having money and start doing different things and start getting a different approach. And by the Crips being the first gang of destruction, because we already had gangs. They had the businessmen, they had the Slawsons, they had the Outlaw 20s, they had the Gladiators. Those are gangs out of the 50s, and those are black gangs. We had the Farmers. Our neighborhood was Treetops from 1959. Then they had the Swamps. They had Boot Hill. They had Front Hood. Those were all intermingling sets. But it took on it was in a different time. So in the 70s when the Crips came, it became a vicious time for youngsters. But you had a lot of misunderstandings on what the world was like. We all had parents. Tookie, his father used to take pictures at all the clubs. Tookie had a mother and a father. He didn't grow up homeless, He didn't grow up in projects and stuff. So I grew up with a mother and a father. I had my own house. I had my own room. I never went to the refrigerator and there was no food there. I did what I did out of anger for something that it was way past what I knew about in white America. Our parents came from the South to get away from prejudice. And they came to the West Coast thinking that there was going to be better. And when they came here, it wasn't prejudice, it was racism. And they bet they had to bite with another monster. But in the reflection of our parents, besides their parents gave them the understanding what prejudice was and what you had to do with white America. Our parents held it in and told us everything was all right, right? And it's like pissing on somebody and telling them it's rain because it ain't all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go along, be nice, the police is your friend, and we found out that's not true.
Yeah.
So we grew up in this, and our parents are telling in their little section, and then we had a wave of kids like, man, we're the first, they say the baby boomers, we're the first ones. It ain't no Santa Claus. It ain't no Easter Bunny. Rabbits don't lay eggs, So when you start getting these realities, it's like your parents done lied to you, so you take to the streets, and it becomes social. And we start listening to each other. And in conglomerate of that, out of all the people can go and look from afar and say how destructive gangbanging was, and which it was. And it took a lot of lives. But It's been gangs everywhere. The mafia was a gang, the Mexican mafia, they all had gangs. The Jews had gangs that became organizations, you know. Before the Democrats and the Republicans, they was a mob. And they called it the Boston Tea Party. They said, fuck England, huh?
Yep.
So they all came from something. So in these 50, 55, 60 years, these blacks are growing. So when you tell me about how corrupt, I've never even met you from 60s, but I know this dude, he went and bought, I believe 100 black kids, took them down and bought suits for them and bought shoes for them. These kids had never had hard shoes before in their life. Everybody wearing sneakers. And he took them to dinner. And when he took them to dinner, they didn't know the fork spoon from the salad fork from the real fork, or what a soup spoon was. But he gave them an introduction. He gave them something that they could see that he didn't have a chance to see when he was growing up, right? Yeah. So that exposure. Michael Conception has a Michael Conception Foundation, right? When you talk about these guys, the Roland Curtis, the 30 Crips, they went through during the drug era. They started buying all the houses in their neighborhoods, right? And they bought the houses in their neighborhoods, and they started cutting the old people's grass and taking out the trash. And you know what that did? Now the old people started embracing them and didn't tell the police on them, right? Changed the community, and the Fed stepped in and gave them the RICO Act.
Damn.
Got rid of that. So these are things that you don't hear about. Snoop started a Snoop League. He started kids going back to the park, hadn't been to the park in 15 years. Cube, Game them, they started the Drew League. Black kids in Compton and Watts could go to Drew High School and see celebrities play basketball for free. So when you see these little changes, but it just takes, a man told me one time in prison, a big shot is a little shot that keeps on shooting. So these little baby steps, and people criticize, well, you know, this happened and that happened. Where were you? You got your platform on the gang, you know? Now you got a platform. You wouldn't be anything without the structure of California, which is bad or which is good. And for you to say something alien against somebody that made you, man, that's like killing your mother, you know? No loyalties. So yeah, we came a long way. We got a long way to go. Like I said, I'm involved with the Black Unicorn Factory, a start IPO, trying to bridge the gap and regain black wealth. You know, so it's us doing some stuff. Johnny Stewart from Cedar Street out of Compton came up with an amazing idea from the federal penitentiary. And we are in the Black Unicorn Factory has 68 companies now. So the difference is that we're coming into, but we have the lack of leadership in gangs now, because we got 30 years of OGs, either half of us was in prison and the other half was on crack cocaine. So you don't have OGs being able to say nothing. How you gonna say something to your child and next time you see him, last time you saw him he was 3, now he's 21? What kind of father image do you have? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been in my children's life all my life. I've been a homeowner. I ain't never slept in a park. All of this, like, we're old men. You ain't Google me. Check my Facebook page. I play with my grandchildren. I'm involved with my children's life because I grew up with a father. I know how important it is to have one, you know? So those type of things, and I believe in structure. And I believe that through this gang essence, once they get the picture that they're not enemies of each other, and get an identification on the real enemy, we'll have an army that'll be able to overwhelm. I mean, you know, blacks in America, we're the most mistreated people on the planet Earth. We've been in every war that America has ever had. And would you work for somebody and get nothing? Out of 50 states, we don't have one Negro state. out of 50. We've lost lives just like everybody else. Yeah. And they used to say, well, the blacks have the ghetto. Now the Mexicans got it. Where's Negro land? You can hit California, you can see little Bangladesh, you can see little Saigon, little Tokyo. Where's little Negro land? You know, and it's not anybody's fault but ours. I looked on Facebook one day, and this guy, he wrote, he says, blacks don't want to be free. We just want white people to like us. Ain't that sad?
Man.
We don't want to be free. We just want white people to like us. So if you ask not, you get not. So we have never asked for anything. We've never demanded anything. And so this new generation, they're demanding stuff. So we just got to focus them on what they're demanding. Then we have these little Jiminy Cricket type of people that try to throw off and have things going another way. And by the way, Charleston White, I got your police report. You said nobody could get nobody can call you a snitch because if they can bring any evidence. But Charleston White's
is that what police report is that from?
From his case.
In the 90s?
Yes, sir. His police report, because when he was 21, his case was sealed. So his court case cannot be opened. But he neglected the fact that it's still a police report. And on his police report, all that stuff that he talked about, that he gave the gun and he did this, none of that reflects in his police report. They talks about how he sobbed and he said he didn't have anything to do with it. And you did tell on your crime partners.
Wow.
So
okay.
The actual facts is that Charleston White is a rat and a liar. He's on the camera talking about how he was the head of and he was the organizer. In his police report, in his arrest, in his clothes, he never had a starter jacket, so he never took one. He was in the back seat. He talked about he feels bad for killing. He never shot a gun. And he never said in the police report that he passed the gun to Atwan. In the police report, he never said that he told dude to report the car stolen. He said they took him and he didn't know what happened. And I was scared. That's what he said in the police report. But now here, 20 years later, you're talking about you were the brains of the organization. And every time you see him, he got his gun. He's never used it. So I don't want to waste a lot of time, but I just want to let you know that Charleston White is really a fraud. But everybody kind of knowing this now, you know. But we go on as a gang, and we don't need these frauds in order to make our stuff where we need it to be. We need to just grow, and me and Melvin Farmer, we go all over the United States trying to rebuild black minds.
Charleston White, I believe, has said he has $50,000 for anybody that has the paperwork.
Right. I want to collect, Charleston.
Okay.
Come with it. Since he said that, we got the police report.
Yeah, that was in a Say Cheese interview too that he just did recently.
Okay.
Where he was talking about you and Melvin. And like you said, he also said that his records are sealed.
So no, you can't get his course records. You know, but the police report is different.
So you can still get a police report from even way back then?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I can't get, I have a friend that has accessibility to a lot of stuff. He's a federal investigator, you know. Or we work in Cali. You know, we just, you have to have the proof. You just can't keep talking, you know. So, you know, that's what we do, man. You know, we truth tellers, whether it affects me or it hurts me. I got to tell the truth, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any other issues that you had that you wanted to clear up from our last interview?
No, that's it, basically. Just wanted to set the record straight on who we are in California. We're not homeless old men. we are homeowners. You can Google me. I own a house. I have children, and I'm in my children's life, you know. So it's just like we're not just out here running around, hanging in the park, drinking 40s. I don't even think they drink 40s no more anyway. So, but we're doing something productive with our time every day. You know, I have a history, like you say. I had an amazing run when I got out of prison in '95, and was able to be around a lot of real, affluent people, and made a real impact on my life.
Taking it back to the 60s and 70s, when everything was forming, what was that era kind of like?
Well, like I said before, initially I was in youth authority, and I was in Ontario YTS. 70, 71, I was there when the first Crips came in, Bunchy Griffin, Minnesota, was Ricky Bonneville, Skipper, Chip, from the Avenues. Most of youngsters, 13 and 14-year-olds with murders, So I knew these dudes, I had firsthand when they first came in, when they first arrived in youth authority. I was there. Then I was in a riot, an incident happened, and I went to San Quentin. And when I got to San Quentin, I was one of the first to ever go straight from youth authority to San Quentin. And when I got to San Quentin, like I say, I had relations with Crips before. And the ex-gang members from the 50s and 60s, who used to be Slausons, who used to be businessmen and gladiators, they became BGF, Black Guerrilla Family. And they became revolutionaries, and they felt thumbs down on any Crip. Could no Crip come to San Quentin? Because they said there was ravages in the neighborhood, there was this and this and that. So one of the brothers that was involved in a murder at the Palladium in 1972, he came to San Quentin. And I had to explain to the brothers in Quentin, you was just like that at one time. Here you're in prison doing life for a dice game. You killed a man over a quarter, So you were killing over. So you can't discriminate in killing. And just because you get a new identity, now you forgot where you were. So when I start, okay, we can roll that. So brothers start coming in, and it started being a whole nother concept on a unity. Compton always had a unity. No matter if they were Crips or we was Pirus, when we got to prison, we was all from Compton. So all the little beefs that you had, you set aside when you go to prison, So that's been until as of late. Now everybody is so segregated. It's about blocks and this and this and that, but they have no true history. You feel what I'm saying? So without a true history, your roots is just like backwards. So you start, well, I'm an OG, and you start banging in 2000. Like, who do that? So we have so many video bangers now. You have all these high-speed internet bangers. So the media put it on another level. So we don't have the same concept as we had before.
How did things change when the Bloods were formed?
What do you mean, how did it change?
Well, you went from when the Crips started, and then at some point, the Bloods were formed.
The 5'9" Brims, the Brims came into effect, and that was LA, and you started with the Bloods and the Crips, and the bounty hunters got involved, and the Crips were coming into neighborhoods trying to organize different neighborhoods. And when they came to Compton, it stopped right on El Segundo. You can't come in here like that, So that was the formation of Pirus. And Piru is a street in Compton, Piru Street, right? So when they formed against that, one of the first really incidents, I believe it was 1972, Little Billy Flowers from Parmalee got into a altercation with a brother by the name of Jody Crawford from Jordan Downs. And on Wilmington and Compton Boulevard, Billy went to the trunk of his car, and Jody already had a gun and killed Billy Flowers. And when he killed Billy, they sent Billy to the funeral home on Firestone across the street from the Jordan Downs. And the dudes in the Jordan Downs went up in the funeral home and turned the casket over. And Miss Flowers called Puddin and Lil Vince and asked them, man, like I need. So they went to the funeral home and sat at the funeral home all night. And when the dudes came to run across the street, they started shooting at them like, who is these dudes? And these is Pirus, right? And that's how the name, and then they start, because of Piru, they start calling us roosters. So the rooster is red, so we assimilated the red with the Bloods.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. This was like the first or one of the first incidents in Compton?
Yes, the first. That separated Compton and Watts.
Okay.
That incident there with Jody Crawford and Billy Flowers, the first murder there. The first actual killing that I can remember that was a really killing in 1969. Clarence Stubberfield killed Ferguson, a brother that lived across the street from him. And Ferguson was a bully. And Clarence, he was like, man, this dude is sweating me. And we like, man, he's like, if this dude do anything, I'm gonna kill him. Like, Stubberfield, you ain't gonna do nothing. So he went to Centennial High School. I was going to Gardena High School. I got kicked out of Compton High School for fighting with the Swamps. And so I was going to Gardena High School. So he came over my house and like told me like, bruh, this dude mess with me, I'm gonna kill him. I'm like, bro, this dude ain't gonna kill nobody, right? And so he says, he comes home. When he comes home from school, it's like 2:30. Comes to the house like, man, this dude, man, I'm tired of this guy. And like, next thing you know, it just like the sun, this happened in May, and like the sun just went down and it got real quiet. And you heard, Clarence Stubberfield just killed Ferguson. Ferguson came up to brother's house, and brother and his cousin shot him with 22 rifles and killed him, right? And he went out on a tree and died on a tree. And it was like something, everybody in Compton like, what? The first murder in Compton, right?
Damn.
So now murder is commonplace. But that day it was just something out of the ordinary. You feel what I'm saying? So the next killing was a little Billy Flowers, when Billy Flowers got killed. And that was another tragedy. And that accented Piru Street and the Piru boys, and just it blossomed from that. And every neighborhood came on, got on board, and we started separating.
I believe you said you went to prison in, was it the early 70s?
68, yeah.
68, and at what point did you get out?
76.
76, okay. And so things must have really changed a lot from that point.
A lot.
What we were talking about was before prison, right?
Right.
Okay. So how were things when you got out of prison?
I mean, when I left, Wilmington was a 2-lane street. Where Benjamin O. Davis Junior High School is, it used to be the shacks. And, you know, the streets, when I left the street, it was, they had just made Rosecrans Shopping Plaza, right? When I get back, they have the Del Alamo Mall and cars. I had never been in a mall before in my life, right? And, you know, in prison, everything is clockwise. Everybody moves clockwise, right? If you go counterclockwise, something go wrong. Somebody trying to kill you, or they gonna get shot, right? Okay. That's out of the ordinary. You go to the chow hall, somebody walking back to the chow, like, whoa, is this a hit or something, right? And you get here to the street, and all these people are walking in different directions, and your peripheral is I had to go sit down in the car because I wasn't used to white people walking, bumping into you, man. Somebody bump into you, either they trying to suck your dick or they stabbing you. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So it's a culture change, right? Every morning you wake up, 6 o'clock in the morning, the bell rings, and it's time to go eat chow, right? And then the bell rings, it's time to go to the yard. On the street, You wake up in the morning, your family still asleep. Ain't no bell to ring. Ain't no going to chow. You know, you get naked, you go to the laundry and get some more clothes. On the street, you got to wash your own clothes and go to the laundry. So it's a big difference when you're in a controlled living situation for a long time.
What were the streets like?
When I got out of prison, the streets were like heaven. It was 1976, the bicentennial year, right? PCP had just started. Everybody was selling angel dust. Everybody had cars. Everybody, it was just like a movement, like, wow, you know. Gangbanging was like on another level. Everybody they were selling cocaine, selling marijuana, selling this, and everybody was progressing, hijacking liquor trucks. It was just like a candy store, right? So you got out you get out of prison, a homeboy would come and give you $1,000, $2,000. Here, man, get on your feet. Here, we're gonna take you to get you dressed. It was love in the community.
Damn.
Right? So you were embraced. You done your time, you was embraced. Today, you ain't embraced, you know.
At some point, I assume things changed where it was no longer like that.
Really changed. I mean, that's about the 80s, after crack cocaine came. When crack cocaine, they say gangbanging, crack cocaine was the most tragic thing happened to the with most communities. Right. It spilled over to the white community, to the Mexican community, but crack cocaine was one of the biggest suffrages it is in our community. It took the soul out of men, women, and children. You know, it was some dudes that I'd seen, like this guy was called The Boss, right? The Boss had a business on Imperial and Crenshaw, and he had the City Bank. He had the City Bank, that 5 or 6 story building. Then he had a car wash on Crenshaw and Florence. And he was a big dope dealer, had a big ranch out in Laverne. This the 70s, you know. Or this black dude had race horses. And I get out of prison, I see The Boss, and I see this dude and he's walking with a basket. And I'm like, damn, I know this dude from somewhere. And it bothered me so bad I made a U-turn. And I'm like, wait, damn. So I go to the pad. I said, man, you know what? I just seen this dude down on Main Street and by the tracks. And I said, this dude remind me of The Boss. They like, bro, that is The Boss. Crack cocaine took everything from him. From multi-millions of dollars to push in a basket. And that's not an exception, that's the rule. Most of them dudes lost out.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So you see the cartilage of a drug taking whole families out. You know? And it made these children so sour. Their mothers was taking the food stamps, getting crack cocaine, and the kids was suffering. And so they got with gangs, they started selling dope, and now they heartless. Because in the infant stage, nobody cared about them, you know. And I was telling them, we were talking, and was with one of my girlfriends the other day, girl I grew up with, and we were talking about my growing up. And my growing up was kind of hard in a way. I was scared of girls. And girls, I called me Big Nose Marvin, and my brothers was kind of light skinned, so they said that I was adopted. At the 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, girls used to give me hell, right? So I started, you know, being bad, doing stuff but I was always scared of girls, never did nothing, right? And then in the 7th grade, I got a car. Big Nose Marvin got a car, and I'd be trying to run over people and all my boys. So in high school, I get a girlfriend, I would just take her to go steal cars. I never had sex, never. First time I had sex, I was 26 years old, right? I was a late bloomer, right? And so we were talking about my girlfriend, one of the girls I grew up with. She went to Catholic school. She went to this school called Bishop Kennedy, and they used to call them back in the day the Pico pickups, right? because you couldn't pick them up in the front because all the sisters was in the front of the school. So they walked over to Pico and they jump in the car and everybody did school and they do their thing, right? So one day I was home on a suspension for doing some shit in school, and she called me. She lived like 8 blocks away from me, right? She called me like, "Hey, Marvin, you got a cup of sugar?" I'm like, "Yeah." She rides her bicycle over to my house. We sit up watching TV. I never think nothing about it, right? So we watch TV. Everybody like, "But what's Pam doing over here?" Like, she came to get some sugar. She goes home. About a week later, she calls me again. "Marvin, you got 2 eggs?" Like, "Yeah, I got 2 eggs," right? They say, bam, she comes over to the house again. We sit up. They ask me, "Man, bro, you doing it to Pam?" Like, "Doing what?" He like, "Do you think this girl rode 8 blocks on a bicycle just to get some eggs and some sugar, bro?" Yeah, I did. You know, so it was. I had a gangster attitude, but I didn't know how to deal with girls. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of, in a shell. They called me young masturbator. So that's what I did. So all gangsters ain't lovers, right? And all lovers ain't gangsters.
I think we started off talking about the pros and cons from back then to now. What are some changes and things that you're doing that you can talk about?
The changes we're doing now is being the living example. I can spout out the mouth and tell you what I did. Who cares what I did in 1978? Most of these kids wasn't even born, right? What you doing now? So I'm in my hood every day to show them if Marvin made it, everybody can. The Ayatollah's still here. You know what I'm saying? At 71, I ain't got a gang of hickeys on my head. I ain't got no stab wounds. And I've been in the street. I ain't ratted on nobody. I've been the aggressor of what I do most of my life. I ain't been the victim of nothing. Been some kind of like, I ain't won them all. I ain't won many of them, right? But I ain't come out with no scars like that. And I'm not bitter about anything that has happened. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a difference when I hold you accountable for some shit I did. You got a lot of these dudes, "Oh, I did this for the hood." No, you did it for you. And it had nothing to do with the hood. You snatched some lady's purse, that wasn't for the hood, was it? You carjacked some old people, that's for the hood? Mm. You killed a dude over a girl, that was for the hood? So now you all, "Oh man, they ain't did this for me." What did you leave us? How am I do something for you and you ain't leave nothing, huh?
Yeah.
You get a lot of family members. And when the family dies, you get the ones that ain't never done nothing in the family, looking for their part. What part is yours? You've been a liability all your life in this family. "Oh, we'll sell something, we can all split it." Well, how's we all and you ain't part of this? So people take unfair advantage. You got youngsters now with entitlement. Like, I'm just supposed to have this. What make that a fact? What have you done to earn what you do? You feel what I'm saying? So now people don't want to earn. They want you to just give them shit. "Oh, I'm an OG. I'm double OG. I'm a triple OG. How you get what you do? You living with your mama. You living with a girl. You don't own a house. So how'd you get a status? Standing in the park like a cigar store engine make you a G? We got to start doing something. We got to be in motion. Me and Melvin are in motion. So I promote all my homies to get it. A lot of these youngsters, you don't know how deep they are in the stock market. They dealing with Bitcoins. They dealing with this because now they're getting an awakening that they may have to have a future. So this is what we're trying to regulate, that, man, you may not die at 21. You may have to live to be 40 or 45, so you better plan it. Because if you don't, you'll be pushing a basket like him that thought he was able to party his life off, and look at him now. Do you think a kid grows up and say, "When I grow up, I want to be a bum"?
Never.
You know what I'm saying? "Damn, when I grow up, I want to be a crackhead like Fred."
Never.
So what was the point that they fucked their life off? What happened to them? What was that point that that man transitioned from being a good dude to being a walking dead man? What happened to him? Somebody asked him to do something on the set and they got pushed out the set. And they got to keep pushing and pushing. And you got dudes downtown now. They got their own gang, DTGs, downtown gangsters. They got pushed out their Crips sets. They got pushed out their Blood sets. They couldn't stand up to it, so they all downtown, migrating at a melting pot of nothingness. So, yeah, we just trying to make a change, bro.
Okay. Is there any other things that you guys got going on you can talk about?
Other than like I say, you know about us in the Credible Messengers.
What's that?
Credible Messengers is with King Tone from the Latin Kings, Sean Stevenson from the Black Mafia crew out of Columbus, Ohio, and we formulated a group. Everybody did 25 years or better, and we have a national group called Credible Messengers, and we go around and give a view to people in incarcerated juvenile hall. We try to save children and let them know that, you know, it's like going to prison. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to go to prison, bro. Anybody can go. And it's whether you make it there or not. And it's easy to make it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that hard. I mean, the hard part is being on the street every day. I was so selfish, I didn't care whether my mother, it was just all right. So going to prison, all my buddies was in prison. But for the man that is on the street all of his life, lived in my neighborhood, never snitched on nobody, never did nothing, and never went to prison, he got a testimony, huh? How'd he do it? Me going to prison is like going to the third grade. One time I was in the elementary school. You know, when you get to be we went from the first grade to the sixth grade. And the seventh grade was junior high school, right? They got it all wished up now. But in the sixth grade, you the king of the school. You the big dog. You tell all the little kids what to do, right? So one day I was clowning in my classroom and my teacher took me to the principal's office. And the principal like, Marvin, what's wrong with you? I'm going off. He said, man, you acting like a baby. I'm gonna treat you like a baby. This dude sent me to the third grade classroom, right? I went to the third grade because when I sat down, my knees was hitting the desk because I was too big, right?
Yeah.
My knees like all the kids, Marvin, what you doing in our class? I'm like, shut up. Miss Holmes, she like, stick your hand, and she hit my hand with a ruler. Like, lady, I'm in the sixth grade.
Damn.
But I had outgrew the third grade, huh? And my knees started bumping. So when my knees started bumping the penitentiary, I had outgrew prison. In 95, my knees was bumping. When I went to prison, they was calling me Young Marv. When I got out, they was calling me Pops.
Damn.
Dudes had come to prison, I knew their fathers and their grandfathers. Oh, gee, did you know man, I'm so-and-so from Long Beach, you know my dad? Like, damn, I'm out of sort here. See, if you keep doing the same thing and over and expect a different result, that's insane. So I divorced prison in 95. Never want to go back. Been out 26 years, you know? So we show by example every day. I'm showing dudes, we've got somewhere to go for 8 hours. You gotta be hid, you gotta be subliminal for 8 hours. Riding the street 8 hours a day, you got agencies everywhere. That's what they are paid to see your car in the Nixon Gardens, see your car in the jungle. See your car in Jordan Downs. You ain't got no job. You need one or two things, a jack or a dope dealer, huh?
That's it.
You in the hood every day in a brand new car. You rolling the Benz with no job, no license. You say somebody snitched on you. You told on yourself. Huh?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's what we do. You know, like I told you, our movement with Black Unicorn Factory and Potts Grove Farms. We're just trying to, the only way we can make a change is economics. And you can't really tell nobody nothing while you broke and they broke, you know. So you have to facilitate money, but you have to facilitate it with a knowledge of how to keep it, not just spend it and do something when you have to get, so we can start taking the gap away from generational wealth. That we leave something for your grandkids, your next generation. We don't want, how are you gangbanging every day and one of your homies die and you got to do a car wash or a barbecue? What kind of organization is that? You know we're gonna die, so if we put $5 together, we can pay for a casket, huh? Or shit, maybe we can pay for a wedding. Everybody ain't gotta die, huh? So we just have to change the mindset, you know. So that's what we're trying to do, one brain at a time.
Man, that's dope shit, man. You know, that you're just that motivated to get out there and make a change, and you're around people, and you know, you're just doing all these different things, man. I just think it's super dope.
Man, and let me say this, I gotta commend my cats from North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey. These youngsters is building, I mean, they're taking Piru and building a brand. They're getting together, getting buildings, and starting to organize companies. You feel what I'm saying? My number one girl, Queen, she got her girls going. You know, they're all getting LLCs this week, right? So that's another branch of development. And these are young girls, right? That's like putting on a persona of business. And my boy Gaddafi, you know, he pushes a hard line, you know. Star Money, all of these dudes, man, I really appreciate all the stuff that they do and how they're focusing on their success and their progress.
Man, that's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Man. Well, I recently found out that you did some bodyguarding.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well, when did you start bodyguarding?
Well, hey, bro, like I told you, I got out of prison in 1995, right? And I swore if I had to sell, change Kotex machines or baby diapers, I was not going back to prison, right? And so I got Captain Shahid got me a job at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle on Pico and La Brea. And I used to ride a bicycle from Compton to Pico and La Brea, right?
Is that far? For people who ain't from LA?
Yeah, that's like 22 miles, 22, 23 miles from Compton.
Wow.
And I had to ride a bicycle, a beach cruiser, my son's beach cruiser, right? And I rode through the neighborhood and dudes like, Marv, man, look, you hook us up with so-and-so out of Detroit, I'll give you 40,000. Man, you do this, but I promised God I wouldn't do nothing else wrong, right? Prison, I don't work in prison. You send me to prison, you're supposed to punish me. I'm not gonna work for $1 a day. If I wanted to work for $1 a day, I didn't need to commit the crime, huh?
That's it.
Why the hell would I go to prison to work for $1 and I could work on the street, right?
Right.
So some people got their priorities mixed up and they trying to get to the kitchen. Man, I got to do something. I want you to take care of me. I want real punishment when I'm in prison. Punish me to the max. So I get out, bro, and I'm working, and $5 an hour. And one day Brandy and Ray J comes in Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle, and some Mansfield Crips start sweating. They come and tell us like, hey, these dudes is over here sweating Brandy and Ray J. Sweating Brandy, like, dude, like they all come across the street, we fighting like 20 dudes, right? And so this dude comes up and like, man, check this out. Bruh, y'all fighting this hard for $5. You really want a real job? So want a real job? I'm like, what I gotta do? So Captain Shahid's like, bruh, here. So my first job was Set It Off with Queen Latifah and Jay. I did a personal with the Nation of Islam for Jada Pickett and Set It Off. Work with F. Gary Gray.
Talk to me about the Ray J and Brandy thing a little bit. So you saved them from
Yeah,
getting...
yeah, they was sweating them like, you know, where you from? Ray J them was young, and like they was in Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. Like, man, y'all got to get up out of here. You know, we get them outside, fight ensues in the parking lot. You know, and bam.
What Ray J and Brandy say about this? Were they like,
No,
"Oh, thank you for saving us"?
No, like got the hell out of there, nigga. Y'all doing y'all job. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was just an incident that happened,
Okay.
and through that incident, I started working. I did Set It Off. After Set It Off, I did Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Vanessa Williams, and then Captain Shahid got me the job with Tupac when we did Gridlock, the last movie he did before he died.
What was it like doing Set It Off?
Man, Set It Off was I was a hell of an experience, you know. I mean, man, from $5 an hour to $18 an hour, like, man, that's, you know, it's like robbery money to me, you know. So I learned a lot about how they do scenes. The scene that they did when Dub see them, that was in Pasadena, in Colorado. And then they did when Queen Latifah ran into the bank, that was on Wilshire and Fairfax across the street from, what is that, where did Biggie get killed? Peterson, the Peterson Museum, you know. And then the last one we did, and it was a lot of travel, you know. So it was real interesting, you know. And so after that, after the Tupac movie, I was
You met Tupac?
Yeah.
Was that your first time meeting Tupac?
No, well, it was with Suge and Death Row, and we from Compton, you know. So he was in and out the hood. Pac was just a regular, you know, he was a genuine youngster, you know.
So you met Tupac in the hood first?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because it was like, you know, Tupac was out of prison, and then, you know, he hooks up with Suge and Death Row and everything.
Death Row was on. Death Row was the premier of Compton. You know, $147 million, put all the homies on, and through that experience, he put some people on that he shouldn't have put on, made some bad decisions, you know. But I was really in another atmosphere doing something else. I really didn't hang with them like that, you know. Not that impressed with what they was doing at that time, you know. So it's like I didn't just hang out with the mob at that time when Death Row was. I appreciated when Suge first got the idea about Death Row. You know, I was impressed with what he said and the symbol and all of that, you know. So it was like, okay. So it wasn't any like, you know, star-studded affair. I didn't really kick it with them like that, you know. And
you ended up Bodyguard and Gridlock. How did that come together?
We started at Shahid got with Suge, and they was doing this movie with Tim Raw, and they put our team on doing the security for Pac, right? So we worked with Pac. We did most of it, and before the end of it, Suge had hired Reggie Wright, a Compton police, and he changed the details. So when I left that detail at the end of the movie, then I went over and took over and started working for Mike Tyson.
Okay. Now, there's been like a lot of disagreements and opinions about Tupac being from mob, not being from mob. What's your take on all that?
What do you mean? He was on Death Row. Tupac wasn't from Compton.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was MOB. I mean, he was with the mob. That was Death Row. And he was around them most of the time. So he wasn't a gangbanger, you know. And it's like people create an image just being around other people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you hang out with us every day, you're going to start seeing blood. Tomorrow, when you start hanging out with Big U them or Melvin Farmer them, in a week or so, you're gonna start saying Crip, cuz. So that's just how things happen. You start adapting as a actor or a creator. If this ain't in your blood, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you get me around some Crips, in less than an hour, they gonna find out I ain't one of them. You dig what I'm saying? They gonna be cousins, and then you'll hear them say, "Well, who is dude?" Right? Because I'm not gonna cuz at all, right? Oh yeah, that's Marv. He good. He this and this and that. But when it's your character, but if it's not in your heart, you adapt. Like, oh yeah, what's up, cuz? This and that. You're just saying it. So Pac was, and I really never heard him say blood like that, But dude was a thinker, It wasn't like he was for the fashionistas and for whatever. Every time I see this dude, he's reading a book, reading the Quran, writing lyrics out, He was dedicated to his craft. He wasn't partying. The times I was, even at the parties and stuff, dude would be in the corner sitting. He wasn't wilding out like you see on the cameras and stuff. That really wasn't him, that I know of,
Oh, okay. So you went to some after parties with him?
Yeah.
Bodyguarded him there too?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything that happened, or Death Row has a lot of, pretty crazy
a lot of ghost stories.
that.
Yeah. I never was a part of any of that.
Okay. What was Gridlock like?
Gridlock, that's the first time I'd met Ten Raw. It was they did a lot of it was entertaining. It was a good detail. So it's just like work, It wasn't as interesting as Set It Off because it was a bigger cast. It was doing more things, and with Gridlock, it was did most downtown in East LA,
Okay.
So that was the scenery, so it wasn't based like all around. We didn't do a lot of locations with that, other than like when it was with Set It Off. I did a personal with Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, and Bobby did the movie. He did Beauty Shop. We did Beauty Shop and Gang of Roses with Lisa Ray and Monica Calhoun, a cowboy movie.
How'd that work out for you? It was cool.
I got paid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you bodyguarded for Mike Tyson.
Yeah. One of the best details I ever had.
Okay, was it just one time or?
No, I was with him 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like I say, it was one of the best details I ever had.
And this was after he got out of prison, I take it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot of wild stories about Mike Tyson, especially from like that time.
Well, the wild, and Mike is not that wild. I mean, the wild stories is Mike grew up like in a situation where when you think you had it hard, this guy grew up in alleys and stuff like that. The first time he slept in a bed was in juvenile hall, And so, but he has a love for people, right? And his demeanor is just so good and so genuine. And he'll do over and above, but don't take him to be naive. Gus D'Amato taught this man well. When it comes to economics, when it comes to dealing with finance, this brother is a genius on that. So if he would take that little tiny voice and this and this and that, but man, he showed me some stuff, dealing with, All of his furniture is Chippendale. He don't deal with any American-made car at that time. For the resale value was not this, and this Chippendale furniture, and it's insured for $25,000, and this is a Persian rug, and it's insured for 100. Like, man, where'd you get all? I know that ain't in the L.A. Times. Where'd you learn that from, right? So,
Man.
Yeah, he's really a good dude, and you know, and when he was on suspension, when he had the biggest fine in athletic history. When he bit Evander's ear, they fined him $3 million, you know.
Damn.
And it was off for a whole year, and in that year, 1998. The number one athlete was Michael Jordan, and I think Michael Jordan made $147 million that year, and Mike hadn't fought for a whole year, and he was number two, made $140 million. Right?
Just off of
royalties and the stuff that he got. So that's when people talk about Don King. Don King is one of the best promoters. Do you know before Don King, no fighter ever made over $50,000 dealing with Bob Arum?
I didn't know that.
The biggest fight, Joe Louis's biggest fight was at Madison Square Garden. And it was for $4 million, but he didn't get any of the money. He dedicated to the war fund, right? And in 1972, I believe 72, Frank Sinatra found him in Detroit in an alley, broke, homeless, and took him to Las Vegas and set him up, gave him a lifetime room at Caesar's Palace, you know, because the Brown Bomber was his hero. And before Muhammad Ali, no fighter had ever made $1 million, thanks to Don King. And the Thriller in Manila, he guaranteed Muhammad Ali, I'll get you $1 million, right? When he got $1 million for one fight, do you know what the white football player said? The quarterback? This Negro made $1 million for one fight, and I'm throwing this football. And they gave him $1 million. The basketball player started getting, after Don King gave Muhammad Ali $1 million, it changed the whole paying scale for all of the sports. Every fighter that Don King ever promoted were millionaires. Larry Holmes, every one of them. Everybody was millionaires dealing with Don King.
What do you think happened with Mike Tyson?
What had happened with him?
How he ended up going broke?
Well, he never went broke.
Mike Tyson never went broke?
He couldn't go broke. I mean, the facade, you know, for the economics of what happened and the terminology, and I can't see him ever going broke. You know, and he's back on top right now.
No, he's doing this thing right now.
Yeah, his residuals, he's sharp, you know. So, you know, just like Safeway filed bankruptcy. You ever heard of Safeway? Now it's Ralph's Market.
Okay.
So they set the money aside and file bankruptcy and just change the name of the company. It's still Safeway.
That's it.
Names are to be changed to protect the guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any stories you could share from any of your bodyguarding experiences?
I mean, interesting stuff. It's not that interesting. I mean,
bodyguarding Mike Tyson, it seems like it would be kind of easy. Because who's going to really start a fight with Mike Tyson?
Who's going to start a fight with Mike Tyson? What are you going to do? You know, I'm just in the way. You know what I'm saying? I just get paid to just walk around, and I'm the stunt dummy in case somebody just get out of line, right? So we never had it. We had some incidents of some drunk people, you know, approach, and so you take that down real quick. But it's nothing major. I've never had the biggest incidents is, man, being around Suge at a time. Every time you're in a club somewhere around Suge, it's some kind of incident. you know. So that was, and I wasn't even bodyguarding, you know, just being around Suge. It was at a time at a club, somebody was taking pot shots, something was going on in the parking lot. That was hard company to be around, you know. With Mike, the craziest incident really ever happened to me is me and B Brown, we were in a club one night, and we were in this club. Me, B, I think Cornelius was there, Shahid, and we were up on the balcony on this club in Hollywood. And so Usher walks up, right? Usher walks up to Bobby, and when he walks up to Bobby, Usher's drunk and this and that, and he's like, Bobby, I love you, man. You know, I really want, you know, and he grabs Bob around the neck and starts like, I guess he's holding him, but he's choking Bobby, right? And B Brown panics and grabs dude, and they wrestling. Dude trying to hold on, Bobby trying to throw him over the balcony, right? So Usher's bodyguard grabs Bobby. I grab Usher's bodyguard, and we're wrestling, but I get my pinky caught in this dude's lapel, right? And so everybody wrestling and this and that and break my finger, right?
Oh, damn.
So they wrestling and this and that. So Korn comes and takes Usher's bodyguard, throws him on the ground. When he throws him on the ground, bang, it breaks my finger, right? And my finger's still stuck in this dude.
Damn.
So you're like, right now, I can't get this ring off because I get this knot right here. So I'm like, B, man, how? He like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude, how did we get like this? The only one come out hurt is me. So,
and it was all just a misunderstanding.
Just a misunderstanding.
Big deal.
Like, man, yeah. So that was like one of the wildest, you know, like physical incidents. You know, it's all kind of cool, you know.
How many times did you meet Usher?
Just that once. And I didn't want to meet him no more. I never really met him. You know, he was just it was like he was impressed. He was ecstatic to see Bobby Brown. And it just went left. You know, just that quick. A lot of shit just go left. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was one of the best. Whitney, she was a wild girl. So we, you know, rest in peace. But she was a Leo, you know, and man, she was a Spitfire.
Is there anything you could talk about?
No.
Okay.
Let the rest, you know. But yeah, everybody, you know, looks at Bobby as the problem, but Bob wasn't the problem, you know. Bob was not the problem, if it was a problem at all, you know. So what's his name? Clive Davis thought if he could get Whitney away from Bobby, that he would have the artist he had before. And when she left Bobby, she started messing with Ray J and started sinking deeper and deeper until came her untimely demise, you know? So it's tragic, but it's like, it's in my experience and knowing her and knowing the situation, I feel there's more to it than just her ODing, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're worth more dead to me than you're alive. So when we look at that, who profited from her death? Bobby didn't. Bobby Christina didn't. Clive Davis did. And he found that she was unmanageable. You know, she was like off the chain. Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, man. That was, you know, she was incredibly talented, man.
Incredibly talented.
You
really.
know, sad. Something
Yeah.
like that happens at such, you know, at a young age. I mean, I know she was, you know, older, but still really young.
Right.
You know.
Like I said, we had a good run. you know. And like after I left Bobby them, I would start working with Barry Hankerson and Black Ground Records, and dealt with Aaliyah and Genuine, Missy Elliott, you know. And I was at the Hotel Nico when Biggie got killed. I was on the detail for Aaliyah, and it just finished the awards, and we came back, and I saw Biggie when he came out to, and it was a crazy atmosphere because everybody was like, Biggie can't come back to L.A. Biggie was responsible. It was the Tupac stuff and this and this and that, and you know, I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. So he rolls in, and when he rolls in after the
you were at the event that night when Biggie got killed?
Yeah. I wasn't at the Peterson. I was on my way there, and I just saw him and Puffy. They were staying in the Nico Hotel on La Cienega also, and they had jumped in the limo, and the after party was at the Peterson Hotel, at the Peterson Museum. So I was waiting on Aaliyah and Timberland, and they were coming down to the limo. And when they were coming down to the limo, we were sitting there waiting. Bam, I get a call, don't come over here, Biggie just got shot. Like, what? So yeah, man, so everybody went to Cedar Sinai, and bro was dead.
Wow. You went to Cedar Sinai that night also. Aaliyah and Timberland went there?
Yeah, well, no, Aaliyah and Timberland went back to the room. We went over to Nico is writing, the Cedar Sinai is writing back of the Hotel Nico. It's like the Hotel Nico, when you go down San Vicente and La Cienega, the Nico sits over here where the Beverly Center is now. Cedar Sinai is right behind the Beverly Center.
What was your reaction when you found out that Biggie was shot? Was it surprising to you, or?
Yeah, really. You know what? And it was surprising, not surprising actually, because earlier that day when Biggie and Puffy came to the hotel, Captain Shaheed Muhammad is with the Nation of Islam, and Cap came up to Puffy and told Puff, like, man, you know, if you need any assistance, get with us, bro, this and this and that. So 2 undercover police walked up, like, yeah, Shaheed Muhammad, we got this, we got that, this and this. So they had police security for him, right? And dealing with anybody dealing with the Nation of Islam at that time, we ain't lost no lives. But every time they transfer from the Nation of Islam, when they stopped with the Nation of Islam, started with the other security king, Pac get killed, right? When we asked Biggie, I asked Puffy about Biggie, now Biggie died that night, you know? So it's like some kind of, all this stuff is just not coincidence, you know? So who profited from Biggie dying, you know? Suge didn't profit from Pac dying at all. His life went spiral downhill after Pac's death, right?
Seems like it. Yeah, he went to prison.
Went to prison, everything been bad. Now he's doing 25 years. So he didn't, Illuminati stuff didn't work for him. You know what I'm saying? If that's was a sacrifice, he should have took that sacrifice back. If they saying that he had Biggie killed, I mean, he had Pac killed, he had this and this and that. So the rumor mill, like, after Biggie died, Puffy's still on the top, huh?
Puffy didn't slow down.
Got bigger.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? After Whitney died, Clive Davis still on top.
Yep.
When Aaliyah dies, I was with Barry when Aaliyah died for a wrongful death. He got paid $90 million for her death. Am I supposed to say that on TV? Sue me. I ain't got nothing. I was with him on the negotiations. You know what I'm saying? Black Ground Records. He's married to Gladys Knight.
Wow.
So he had Timberland, Genuine, Timberland, Genuine, Missy Elliott, and Aaliyah is his niece. You know.
Oh wow.
Aaliyah's his niece. So he got a settlement for $90 million for her death.
Was that just for his rights or whatever he owned?
What she would have been able to make if she hadn't have died.
Oh, okay. There was a lot of lawsuits.
I guess.
Okay.
But that was the settlement. I wasn't in. I was there when we went over to the. He got $90 million. He wouldn't stayed at the L'Hermitage Hotel. We ate good. in deep mourning, right?
Who was your favorite person to bodyguard for?
Mike Tyson.
Was there anything about it that he was just a cool person?
He was genuine, and I'll tell you an incident. When I seen this dude was rich, right? Like we were in Manhattan in New York, right? He went to the Lexus dealer. He went to the Lexus dealers, and he bought 3 Lexuses, right? And he told me, hey, can you go out to my car and get the diner's card? Now, I thought a diner's card, you could do nothing but get dinner with it, right? So this dude gave him a diner's card, and he brought 3 Lexuses, $40,000 a piece. Well, $45,000 a piece. 3 with a diner's card, right? Where do you want us to ship it? They were like, what? And then we went around the corner, and he bought 2 DeConte motorcycles with the same diner's card.
Damn.
And I said, this dude is rich. Like you do this with a diner. That's just one of the cards he have, right? So like, man, we was bouncing around from place to place. We'd be at the Nico Hotel. This is when he was when he was suspended from boxing, right? So we would come to the Nico Sunday morning and be at what was the name of the club? The Century Club. Sunday night we'd be at the Century Club. Come back in Tuesday, we would be at Peanuts, this club on Santa Monica in Hollywood. Leave there, go Sunday. Wednesday we'd be at Club Paradise in Las Vegas, the strip club, right? Thursday we'd be in Studio 54 in New York, right? Saturday we'd be in DC Live in DC and be doing the whole road again. We would leave closed. One day we jetted out one night, got a private plane, go in. We go to DC. It's cold as hell. We got California clothes. So we go in the Gap. We go in the Gap, me, him, and Abdullah. It's 3 of us go in the Gap. And just get whatever you need. But what can you buy in the Gap, right? We spend $11,000. This dude had every jacket. Get 3 of those. You spend $11,000 in the Gap.
Damn. Yeah, Mike Tyson was just having a ball.
Just having a ball, man. I had checked. I never had to pay. All you have to do is sign Team Tyson. You got an eating account for $2,000. Who can eat $2,000 a day worth of food?
That would be hard.
Your per diem is $2,000 a day, right?
Damn, just to eat.
That's to eat. Get in the morning, we ride out in the morning, we get our tip, they give us $500 wherever we go, wherever we need to tip. Go out the strip club or go to a club at night, bam, Parker give us $1,000. This is just for tips, right?
Damn.
My tip is you better get you another job. I'm keeping this money.
The girls, they done took all the money, man. Can we get some more money over here?
Hey, what's happening? It was the best detail. I bought my house in Compton, dealing with Mike. Like, he was good. Everybody, he bought a car, a Lexus, he wouldn't buy no Cadillac or nothing that for you. But you on Team Tyson, you ought to get a brand new car. Benz, BMW, Lexus.
Damn.
Best detail I ever had, bruh. So You know, I give him all the dues, man, all the time. I brought him to Compton. One of my little homeboys, Momo, rest in peace. I took him over Momo's mother's house, and he had never seen pigeons roll in New York. All the pigeons are flyers. You know, they're racing pigeons, right? And you seen pigeons in California, tumblers?
I'm not sure if I paid attention to something like that. No.
Yeah, well, we raise pigeons. We have tumblers, suicides. You throw them up when they go up in the air, and what happens is they fly in the air, right? And it's a disease. It's like they got epilepsy, and when they fly toward the sun, and they black out, and when they black out, they flip, and they flip, and then they come to conscious, and they come back and start flying again.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, then they got some that they call suicides. They go, and when they come down, they flip down, and they'll come so close to the ground that it's like sometimes they hit their beaks on the ground and kill themselves. You know?
Damn.
So it was a whole nother culture of pigeons, and like, dang, ain't never seen nothing like that, right? So,
crazy.
Yeah, he can't, you know, he's comfortable in the hood, you know. I come to my mother's house, he'd be asleep on the couch. Marvin, Mike's here.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Was this when he didn't have a house out here? I take it he would just.
Yeah, no, he didn't have a house in California, but he had hotels. He had the house in Vegas, had the house in Farmington, Connecticut that he sold to 50 Cent. The house was 36 bedrooms. 36 bathrooms, 35 bedrooms, and 15 kitchens.
God damn. Damn, 15 kitchens. Shit.
Yes.
That's crazy. Damn. Okay.
Had a man-made lake, had a pool house. The guard house, 5 bedrooms. In the basement was a shooting range, 27-car garage in Farmington, Connecticut. Bad property. They had cut out one side of a mountain and had a waterfall that go into a man-made lake.
Damn. That sounds like a wild house, man.
Man, a wild house. Don King gave him that house for a wedding present, you know. Then he was married to Monica at that time, and the house that they had in Bethesda, Maryland. The Bethesda, Maryland, her backyard was the 15th hole of the presidential golf course in Washington, D.C., where Tiger Woods first got his green jacket.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was her backyard.
Man, a lot of dope stuff you've seen, man, and been able to be around.
Yeah, it's a blessing. Boy, a dude from Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, came up straight out of Compton, and man, been to 47 states of the United States and 4 foreign countries, you know. So it's been a blessing, you know. Just do the right thing.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Well, man, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Cam. It's a pleasure to be on with you and make me a star.
Man, that's what's up, man. I'm definitely glad, man. It works out for you. You get out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
I know you got a lot of positive stuff you're doing. You know, I love it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.